Hello, hello, my little knowledge guppies. Tonight we are back with more true crime, and instead of wandering the trails, I guess, with Red Dead, we're wandering the wasteland again with some Fallout 76 and trying to earn my badges. And a bunch of rad stags are just like falling on. Oh, there's a terrible beast. Let's get out of his line of sight while I chit chat with you before we go in hardcore. I got my sledgehammer. Okay, so tonight's true crime story is about two pretty famous incidences. An Angelina Jolie movie was done about this called The Changeling, but it was a true story, and that movie kind of did change things up a bit, a tad, you know? So this is the disappearance of Walter Collins, and this happened in 1928. So Walter Collins was a 9-year-old boy who lived in LA, and one night decided to put on his little hat and his little pants and go out to the movies. I'm sorry, I have two screens, and I'm trying to be like, the big screen, but then I know my camera's here, so I'm like, the little screen. Anyway, so he goes to the movies and unfortunately is never seen again. So because I don't know why I pushed that button. Pretty soon before this, like 3 months before this, a girl had gone missing. People are already on major high alert. Like, this is issues, you know? So, oh, is he dead? He's the one I was trying to kill last night. Okay. Oh, but here's another one. Don't spit at me. Snallygastas. They're disgusting. Ugh. Oh, I can't see him. Oh, he's killing me. I don't think I got a hit in. Dang it. Okay. And because California was already kind of on high alert, they went ahead and they started getting calls from all over California, okay? From Oakland all the way down, okay? Just everywhere. I see him here. I've seen him here. He was wrapped in newspaper over here. I saw a boy. And the cops are everywhere. High alert, high alert, high alert. So a couple months later, a boy over in Illinois is like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm Walter Collins, and I was kidnapped, and if you can get me back home, that'd be great. And the cops are like, you're Walter Collins. You do kind of look like him, okay? What happened? And he gives them a vague story of, I was kidnapped, and they let me go. So can I go home now? And so they took him home, and they reunited him. And for 3 weeks, he stayed with, I think her name was Christine. Yeah, Christine, the mother. And, but she, the whole time, while so happy to have her son home, just every little thing he did slowly made her realize this is not my son. And I know what you're thinking. Like me as a mom, if my 7-year-old went missing, there's no one you could put in front of me that I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my kid, you know? But, trauma makes us do crazy ass things. And the trauma of losing a child is a pain that nobody wants to know and most people can't fucking handle. So I can kind of understand going through that trauma and then hearing your son is alive and having a child brought to you and you wanting so bad in your bones for that to be your baby, for you to be like, yep, that's my kid. And then unfortunately, as you're trying to heal with this child, realizing you're not my kid because you're not doing things my kid would do. I can forgive the look thing, but now you're shorter than him and you call me ma, he called me mother, you're very hyperactive and all over the place. And my baby was calm and he liked reading and stuff. Like, it quickly became, who the fuck is this child? So this woman went and got her kid's dental records. And then now this kid, and she went to the cops and she was like, look, their dental records don't match. He's shorter than my son was. He doesn't talk to me the way my son did. He doesn't act the way my son did. This is not my child. The cops did not like this, okay? As we've all learned, okay? Cops don't like to be wrong. They like to close cases. And when they bring you a strange child, you should just be grateful in their eyes. So they pretty quickly the captain was like, just went in on her. Just, you're a fool. How dare you insult me? How dare you try to make me look foolish? You're a terrible mother. You just don't want your fucking kid. Is that what happened? Now your Maddie came back, you know, just ripping into her. And they even, with this woman who had dental records, took this kid and was like, fine, you crazy abandonment mother. We'll prove he's your son. Look, he can find his way home if we take him across town. And look, your dog likes him. Bing, bang, boom. That's your fucking kid. Stop being a terrible idiot. And which I find so fucking insulting, and how anyone could even look at that situation and be like, oh, well, I mean, dental records are what matter. But look, the puppy loves her and he knows directions. Clearly it's her kid. You know, like, what the fuck? So she was not okay with this. She was like, I don't give a shit if my dog fucking likes this kid. That's not my fucking kid. This makes the captain very unhappy. So he puts her in a mental institution. A mental institution. We all know how lovely those places were. This woman got electroshock therapy and very harsh punishments. Because, you know, that's what they did in mental institutions back then. And so while she's sitting in a mental institution to be being abused for knowing that the child was not her fucking child, they do interview this child. And he finally does come clean. And he's like, I'm not her kid. I'm not. What did he say his name was? He actually had a fake name at first. And then it finally came out after that his name was Arthur. And he was a runaway. His mom had died. He didn't want to live with his dad and stepmom, so he ran away. And when he was in Illinois, he'd been jumping around. He's 12. He'd been jumping around. He was in Illinois, and someone stopped him and said, you know, you look a lot like that Walter Collins kid from L.A. who went missing. And in his little mind went, ping! L.A., you say? I could meet my favorite movie star. I think I want to do that. So then, to meet his favorite cowboy movie star, he went ahead and called up and claimed to be Walter. And all I could think is, like, I give this kid points for the gusto, but also I feel for Christine so much, because I think something people probably aren't realizing is how in this moment, in those 3 weeks of her realizing that this kid was not her kid or whatever else. Oh, I think one of the bodies just exploded. What I think when people are like, oh, she didn't recognize her kid, what the fuck, for 3 weeks. I think a piece we're also kind of forgetting is Arthur wanted to be Walter so he could explore LA. That means while this woman is sitting there going, are you Walter? I don't think you are. He's going, Ma, love me. Mommy, look at me. Mommy, why don't you love me? Mommy, why would you say that? Mommy, you know, like, how this poor woman, that poor Kristen, like, how crazy must you have felt? She had to feel insane. Like, she probably deserved to be in that home, because this shithead 12-year-old is sitting there being like, you are my mom. And the cops are going, you're a terrible fucking person. Why don't you hug your son? And then you're going, I'm pretty sure it's not my fucking kid. But like, oh. Because who would even put that on a 12-year-old? Nobody would think a kid would lie about something like that, but they would. That part of the case made me feel for her so much, especially in the 20s. Being a woman was fucking hard enough. She's a single mom. The world's already shitting on her. She's lost her child. She now has this other child pretending to be her child, and she's being put in a mental institution because the cops don't want to be fucking wrong, and this kid's not giving up, you know? Horrible. But because the kid finally did come clean, she was able to be like, to get out of the mental institution. And the captain did not even apologize, so she ended up suing him. Now, she did win $10,000 from him directly, not from the city, which back in $10,000 is a lot of fucking money. The city just didn't make him pay at all, though. Like, they didn't give a shit. They suspended him for like 3 months, and then they brought him right back, and life went on, you know? Now here, in, like, this is where it kind of ends of this case. Is technically still a mystery, okay? And where you have to fall into, like, well, what did happen to Walter? Who was suspect? Well, his father thought that maybe somebody from prison had went after him because he was a snitch in prison. But nobody really felt that way. So here's where we also get another huge case that is directly connected to the Walter Collins case, but technically still not. So, like 60 miles away, let me turn my page here so I can get the name of this place right. We had the Wineville murders, okay? This was a man named Northcott, and he lived with his mother on a chicken farm. And he had decided...
That badge won't
hold that thought.
Itself.
Let me talk to this Mr.
Young
Handy.
tadpoles are the lifeblood of the Pioneer Scouts.
Okay. Do I need anything else? Maybe not. It says I need to talk to him.
That badge won't earn itself.
What do I need to do? Kill one mongrel, kill one rad toad, but that's different. That's daily. Clean up toxic utility waste. Oh. I need to do that right now. Okay. How do you find it? Okay, I guess while I look for toxic waste, I don't know what to do. Oh, something got me. Snizzles! Snallygaster! Dang it! Knew he was somewhere. Go back. Okay. So the Wineville murders, you have Northcott and his mother. Northcott goes up to Canada, where his sister is living. And she has a daughter and a son. And the son's like 14. And the daughter's like 19. And Northcott's like, I need a lot of help on my farm. Can I take my nephew? And she's like, yeah, of course. Take. He'd love to go visit California. So he goes down. And he's supposed to be helping on this farm. Well, pretty soon neighbors are noticing some terrible things happening. Like he's beating the... Uh-oh, my kid's coming.
Mom!
Yes, buddy.
I watched the Tom and Jerry movie.
You're gonna watch Tom and Jerry?
Yeah.
Orion, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Go watch Tom. It's on HBO. Close my door, please. He's not gonna close my door. Hold that thought while I close my door and load back in. So I want you all know, this is a non-edited show, okay? I just let it fly. It flies live. Well, technically not live, but I record it and then I just let that happen. Okay. Unless something really bad happens, then I re-record it. Anyways. So, brings up, neighbors are starting to notice he's beating this kid a lot, and it seems unnecessary, which is a lot to say for the 20s, because I'm pretty sure beating your kids was like a regular practice. So the fact that he was doing it to such an extent that his neighbors had to be like, seems excessive. It's pretty bad, okay? Also, the nephew at this time is sending home letters, and he's writing his parents, and he's not saying anything, but his mom is like, something feels off. His sister, too. They're both like, something feels off about what he's saying. So, they are like, I'm gonna go visit. The sister, the 19-year-old, is like, I'm gonna go visit. I'm gonna go check in, you know, just to see. So she gets there. It's a fine weekend, you know. But she is kind of like, well, he's still acting funny, and Uncle is scaring the shit out of me. And I don't like it. Yeah. Okay. At least I gotta hit him though. She was like, just something's not right, something's off. Now, there was one source that said he did tell his sister exactly what was happening. There's another source that just said she saw bruises, Uncle scared her, something's off, she just didn't feel right, okay? So she goes home, right? And she's like, we gotta get him the fuck out of there. Luckily, kind of for them, when Northcott, I keep wanting to call him Lockhart, it's not Lockhart, it's Northcott. When Northcott brought him down, he didn't go through any immigration. He just brought his nephew home. So they were able to call immigration and be like, this farm has illegal workers. And they went there to get the boy. When they got there, Lockhart saw them coming and him and his mama booked it. They left, and they left the teenage boy behind. So they then, it's frozen on me. So then they start talking to the boy, and the boy tells them everything, okay? He's been raping me. He's been beating me. He's been making me pick up other boys. There's bodies around this farm. Like, he's killed so many people, and he's made me watch. He's made me help while he's abused me also. So the cops are me like, stay here. We're gonna go check this out. And they do search the farm, and they find like clothing, they find blood on the ground, they find bits of bone, so like not full human, but like there's a lot of bone around these blood areas. Oh no, I'm gonna have to start my game over. Did it just crash on me? So I guess we're gonna have to close it. Try again. So in finding these things, they did find evidence of 4 boys that had been missing, okay? One boy was a Mexican child. He had actually beheaded him and threw him in a ditch. He was the one body that he kept alive, and then, not alive, but like kept off premises. Like, he buried him off premises. And the teenage boy was able to say, yes, he had me pick him up, he raped him, he beheaded him, he had me chuck him in a ditch. Then they found evidence that linked him to another boy. It matched the nephew's story of him picking him up, and then 2 brothers that they picked up. They found evidence of them and being on that farm, and then they had the story of the nephew of what happened to them. So now these cops, of course, are like, this story. So then the cops are like, well, how many boys has he taken? So they put out 30 photos in front of the nephew of just random missing kids all over the state of California. And they're just like, if you just see anyone you recognize, just let us know. And he picks out quite a few, but he also picks out Walter Collins, okay? So we're back there. He picked out Walter Collins. So now the cops are like, oh shit, fucking Walter Collins. So then it's a mass manhunt, and they find him and his mother up in Canada. And when they bring them in, they're like, we got A, B, C, D, E, F, G at your fucking farm. Your nephew's telling us this. What's happening? Oops, I didn't mean to go there. Oh, Ryan's back. Hello, Ryan.
Hello.
What do you say?
Please, can I have some apple stuff?
Yes, you may. There you go.
Mommy.
Yes. Uh-oh. You got it? All right, close my door, please. Nothing. Okay. So, at first, the Northcotts are like, okay, all right, look, I did it, okay? I did it. I raped them, I kidnapped them, I raped them, and I threw their bodies in lye, and I buried them all across my garden. Mother Northcott, though, when they got to the Walter Collins story, while Mr. Northcott was like, oh yeah, I did that too, Mother Northcott goes, no, that's not how that went. How that went was, yes, he took Walter, but when I saw on the news and heard about that this boy was such high profile, I took him from him, axed him, and buried him under the chicken coop. Now, they checked, and they didn't find any full bodies. And Northcott says he threw Walter in lie and buried him with how he buried everybody else. So it kind of becomes... And then, fortunately, they didn't find any evidence other than the picture pointing and then the stories. So what ends up happening is Mr. Northcott is tried. But he is tried for the other 4 boys. The Mexican boy, the one boy, and then 2 brothers. And he is found guilty, and he is hanged for this. Mama Northcott, because she claims to have been the one to kill Walter because she was afraid of heat from it, she gets tried and sentenced to life. Back then, they did not sentence women to death, but she did get sentenced to life for this. But unfortunately, because the reason it stays, it's, well, shiitake mushrooms. A legendary scorpion? Why? And why aren't you hit, woman? And I'm being hit. What am I being hit with? His poison? Did he just die? No, he went under. Fuck me. Oh my God, he's 2 stars. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Get the red stag. Get the red stag. He's staying under trying to get me. Maybe I can get him to the Snallygaster and they can kill each other. So the reason this is still considered a mystery, even though we're pretty sure that the Northcotts weren't lying at first and that the nephew did point at him out because he was on that farm and probably died on that farm in a horrific way, is because the Northcotts pretty immediately after being like, yeah, went to, nope, didn't do it. Never saw him, never saw any of the boys, and they changed it to, well, maybe I saw him and like one other boy, you know, like they just kept changing their story. Northcott's sick ass. Oh my God, it's a Queen Murlac. Holy crap. Northcott's messed up mind went, you know what will be super fun? To get his tell his mother I will finally tell her where she can find her son and get her to come up to his jail. So that's what he told her. Come up to the prison and visit me right before they put me to death, and I will tell you exactly what happened to your son and where I buried him. And of course she goes up there, and what does this motherfucker do? He goes, nope. Don't know you, don't know him, don't fucking talk to me. And he sent her on her way. She drove 2 hours for fucking nothing, which is really sad. Also, after his death, one of the boys that he was convicted for was actually found alive and older. So Walter's mother heard this story and immediately became, and she spent the rest of her life just convinced that Walter was out there somewhere and hoped he would come home. And I just find this really sad because I know how hard it would be to let go of the idea that your child's not out there, and probably even, I don't know what would be worse. You know, like as a parent, you have to reflect on this one and go like, what would be fucking worse? To never find out where your child is, or to kind of find out where your fucking child was, find out is the worst of worst situations and that they are gone forever and they died that way. But then you get a sliver of hope in that another child did survive. It does make you feel kind of like, I wouldn't blame her for being like, well, maybe Walter got out too, you know? And then holding on to that instead. And I think she actually passed in the 60s. But it's just such a sad story and messed up story. And then it is just such a crazy thing. And it does make you feel like, well, thank God they were found at least, you know, because they probably would have went on killing. He was only convicted for 4, but it was, in some of his stories, he would say he killed up to 9, sometimes even more. The nephew thinks he killed up to 30 or more. So it's just, we'd never know. You'll never know if someone doesn't report them missing or, you know, you find no evidence of it. This is why it stays a mystery, even though we are now in 100 years later, you know? Almost, damn, we are almost 100 years later exactly. I mean, not quite, but almost. Holy crap. So thank you guys for coming. I have another true crime next week. And then I promise the next one I pick will be something different, either historical or scary, because I don't want to limit myself to just true crime stories. That's not really what I want my channel to be. But right now it's just kind of where I see my ADHD taking me, you know? So thank you so much, my lovely guppies, for listening. I hope you liked it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to learn about, have summarized for you, just hear about in general. And you guys have a great night.